Steve Merrill's here, everyone. Time to get a breakdown on college football betting lines for the weekend. And Steve and I get together each and every week to break down all the big games, including Miami and North Carolina. The Canes coming off an incredible loss, Steve. Oh, my word. They didn't take a knee. It became a national story beyond even college football. I heard NFL announcers on Sunday afternoon referencing it all afternoon. Miami doesn't take a knee. They're a 20-point favorite anyway. So for a betting circumstance against the spread, they had blown that long since. But they blow the game against Georgia Tech, and now they've got to recover and go to North Carolina as a 3.5-point underdog.
Yeah, I've always said I think letdowns happen more after tough losses than big wins. And I think it's even more difficult when you're on the road the following week, especially against a good opponent. So, not a good setup for the Miami Hurricanes. And granted, even if they'd won that game straight up, it was kind of a lackluster win because they were a 19-point favorite. But it was misleading. They dominated the game. They had over 440 yards of offense, held Georgia Tech to just 250. 5 turnovers to 2. And obviously, the last turnover was a very costly one. But overall, they still had 5 turnovers in the game. Should have had 4 turnovers and should have won the game. So they thoroughly outplayed Georgia Tech. So the big question for me is, do they bounce back? And I do think you have to be cautious with Miami in this situation. First of all, last week, history was made. Georgia Tech became the first team in the past 30 years to lose outright as a favorite of 17 or more the previous week and then come back and win outright as a dog of 17 or more. And of course, they shouldn't have won the game, but they did. That's how incredibly strange that finish was last week. And North Carolina is the type of team you don't want to be going in towards against with that unfocused mindset. Just throttled Syracuse last week, 40-7, over 640 yards of offense. Both teams have been really good offensively. Miami's actually been better on defense this year, but if there is a hangover, it might linger on the defensive side. I think the setup favors North Carolina, and I was surprised when I ran the 10,000 game simulation through my database. North Carolina average margin of victory by 10. And that does not factor in the letdown spot. So I like North Carolina in this one as a short favorite.
And that Georgia Tech offensive total at 250 yards is even more anemic when you consider they shouldn't have gotten the ball the last time and they drove it 75 yards in 20 seconds. So just an incredible game finish there. So you can catch Steve's work, of course, at wagertalk.com. But Steve gives us an under the radar selection exclusive here at the Voice of College Football each and every week. You can get that on patreon.com/MarkRogersTV or as a YouTube channel member on the main channel. Folks, he's 17-2 against the spread. It's all documented. It's all on tape. You can watch it. It's amazing. And he pulled through for us again last week. Steve, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, Mark.